I'm live.
I'm moving on to different things. Sometimes I'm feeling good, and other times you take it away. I want to shout it out, yeah. I want to scream on my head. I'm just turning up inside. I can't breathe, help me please. I gotta let it out. Someone, please help me. I'm down on my knees. Help me, please. It makes no sense at all. Someone, please help me. I'm a bad knee. Someone.
Okay, that's the best of my acting going on here. Let's turn this down. It's so poignant, this song. You win. We're not making the system win, okay? Feelings I feel I'm going insane. Okay, it's not all about singing today. Hi Natasha, how you doing? Welcome to the chat room, everybody that's in there with us. I'm just turning up inside. We have breathe, help you please. We're here to help you today. Come on. Please. Okay. Welcome. As I bring this down. As I bring this down, hopefully you can still see me. How are you all doing out there in the UK and around the world that's picking us up? I hope you've had a wonderful day as best as you possibly can. Welcome to Standing in My Truth. It's podcast, YouTube channel. For those who can't pick us up, who's only listening in, you can go on to Standing in My Truth, our Facebook page, and of the same name on YouTube. So welcome and thank you for joining us. Okay, I have 3 wonderful guest panelists today. They are all experts in their field. Let me tell you, there is no expense spared with these guys. As in, when I mean expense, I am talking about them as people. They're sympathetic, empathetic, and they know their stuff. They're people that I had the pleasure of meeting and actually talking to about anxiety, depression, and panic attacks, and further afield of that. I wanted them to come on today and be able to offer some wisdom to you, the public. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my first panelist. Okay, beautiful woman, and someone has already. Oh, I've got my first text message. Okay, there is a chat room as well. I love it. Love it. Okay. So my first panelist that's going to join us today, her name is Rihanna Tamara. Rihanna Tamara. What a lovely name. Her name is Rihanna Tamara, Ebanks Bapp, and she's a self-help coach. I'm going to give you a bit more information about it, but I'm going to leave it to her to tell you more about herself, to be fair. She's an independent advocate who works for human rights. Her role is to ensure people are aware and understand and utilize their human rights within the system, such as health and social care services within the community. Without further ado, I'm going to bring Rihanna in. Where are you, my lovely lady? Where are you? Hey!
Hello.
How are you, my love?
I'm good. Having some technical issues on this side, but hopefully this will hold up. Hopefully, but yes.
Don't worry.
Everything?
Not too bad. So far, so good at my end. Hi, Dan. Let's fight the anxiety together. We've got some really great people joining us in the chat room, so I'm really looking forward to them. listening to what you've got, your pearls of wisdom today. And yes, you see Riri, Natasha's just saying hi to you as well. I don't know if you can see her in the chat room. Yeah, please tell the public a bit about yourself before, we go on to everybody else that's joining us.
Sure. So what Valerie kind of mentioned, I'll develop on that. So, I work for a human rights charity, and my day-to-day job literally consists of supporting people jumping through these hoops of systems that we find ourselves living in society. The reason why I got into advocacy is because I'm a strong believer in justice and social justice, and people understanding how to utilize their rights and effectively as well. So that's a bit about my day job. My personal business is called Plan. So that's around, yes, self-help and self-healing tools and strategies. So I run a lot of workshops that are a lot of contemplative and psychosocial workshops to really get you thinking about your life, where you're going, your progress, and even just the past things that have happened that influence who you are now, and how you can propel either some sort of healing or some help forward from the triumphs that we have to overcome, and the obstacles in life that we face. So that's a little bit about me.
Is it just based in London, or you're able to do workshops around the UK per se?
Yeah, so I've recently set back up my workshop called Perception Sessions, and that one's, it's mainly about getting a different perspective on your issue, and that's it in a nutshell. Because a lot of the time we can be very one-track minded. So the reason why I called it Perception Sessions is because it allows everyone to gain a different perspective on the issue from the other attendees as well,
Right.
And it's just a safe space to share and get some insight on your own issues, and to help other people overcome theirs as well. So
and that's just part of a group? Is that part of a group? And if everyone can share together, so it's like a peer group all together, is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. And that's held on Zoom, so anyone can join. It's free as well. So it happens every other Friday at 8 p.m. Yeah, 8 p.m.
Great. What we're going to do is, when we get to the end of this session, we will we'll revisit that and obviously put that out there again for anybody that likes to join you on the Friday. Okay, that was my lovely, I call her Riri, but it's Rihanna Tamara. Beautiful name, Rihanna Tamara.
Riri, it's okay.
Oh my God, girls Nubian. Okay, my second guest that's going to join us today is, again, I think I met her around the same time I met Rihanna, when I went to a really great workshop down in Essex in Billericay. Beautiful, beautiful lady as well. Her name is Francesca A. That I don't know, but I think I know what the A stands for, and I'll let her tell you. Do you know what I mean? And Pinnaman. And she runs the Healing Table on Facebook itself. She is a counsellor, mental health counsellor, and she also runs another little session called AcuWard. I'm hoping I've pronounced that right for her. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her in right now. Is she there? Francesca, are you there? Hey! Hey!
Hello.
Hey!
Hello. Hey, Ree.
Hey!
How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm settled.
You've literally come from work, so I know that both of you was like bombing it back, to start. You know why I did this so early? Just so people can still watch their bloody, what's that program? Soaps? What's that soap? Emmerdale and the others, whatever they're called. I literally did that. Oh, someone is saying, can you put the links into this chat, Valerie, for the self-healing tools? I definitely will. I don't know if Rihanna, none of you can see the chat rooms, can you really? Can you?
Do you know what? I saw it, but now I can't. Like, as soon as I watch Rihanna, now I can't.
Okay, because people are actually asking for the detail, which is beautiful. So, I will, while everyone's talking, I will try and add all the information, like the plan. I've got plan.veg. I can put that in already, and I'll put yours in, Francesca. But without me waffling on, Francesca, please introduce yourself to the world.
Good evening, world. My name is Francesca Pinnaman, and you did say it right. But I'm also known as Akuya Words. And Akuya Word is, my Ghanaian name is Akuya, and I really like words, so the queer words.
So you put the two together. What, a little bit more, elaborate a little bit more what a pure word is and what you actually do, and the healing table.
The healing table. So the healing table is my little baby, and it's somewhere. It's a safe place where we talk about healing, and it's not just. Obviously, we all know that the mind and the heart's connected. So we have the mental healing, but then it comes into the physical, the emotional. Whatever's going on with you, we don't fight you to get it out, and we won't say you're healed straight away, but we start you on the process of healing.
Yeah, to recognize.
Yes.
Yes, to recognize what it is that's going on, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah, or even just to acknowledge, because sometimes our biggest fear is acknowledging the pain.
Very true
Sometimes
indeed.
we know what the pain is, but we don't want to name it. So
very true.
Someone who's got depression, they won't name it because they're fearful. So name it Shirley. Oh,
Yeah.
Shirley's with me today.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling depressed because Shirley's about.
Yeah.
So that's how we work through it. So I've got that, and I've got a females one, and I have a men's one, and I have a joint one.
Oh, good.
Yeah. The men's one is very interesting for the females out there because it tunes into a man's perspective of life, love language, intimacy, relationship, healing, and just their mindset of what they've been taught or their learned behavior. So that's the healing table. I do it on a Friday, last Friday of every month, but we've got an impromptu one tomorrow. That's on love languages.
Okay, fantastic. And again, I will get all that information, and people are asking, again, someone has asked. That is absolutely right, Tasha. Denial is real. Someone is just saying that denial is so real. It absolutely is real. My last guest that I'm bringing in today is the lovely Dr. Rachel Gow. I call her Rachel, but to her patients and everybody else, she's well known amongst, I would say, I met her through the music industry, and we had various people that we knew together. And I didn't realize that she dealt with teenagers, adults, and children with ADHD. And then she deals with another program called Nutritious Mind. And I think a lot of people forget that to eat right is one of the best ways to feed the mind. And she does that. So you could always try and heal here, but if you're not eating right, you're not going to, that's still half of the battle that's not won. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Rachel, who can give you a bit more. Her history is so long, so I'm not going to, I'm going to condense it and let her. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, Valerie. So lovely to see you all tonight.
Say hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi, Rachel.
Hey, it's wonderful to be part of an all-female panel. So,
well,
we
did have a male, but he couldn't change his schedule. So I know, and I'm gutted, but I'm hoping he will see this and he'll be jumping through hoops so that when we do the second schedule, for 2 weeks, because you're not going to get everything done this week. So I've broken everything down as much as we can. Why do I hear cracking somewhere?
That's when he's typing.
Yeah.
It's a little bit crackly.
Oh, right. I can hear it. I don't know where it's coming from, but
it's magically gone.
Yeah. But
that microphone.
It does, doesn't it? But I'm sure everyone can hear us out there. So the main thing is, Rachel, just give a brief synopsis about yourself before we dive right into the questions.
Sure. So just very, very briefly, by training, I'm a child neuropsychologist. I studied psychology for over a decade. My work's taken me, as you know, to the United States on 2 occasions. I spent 4 years in DC working for a large biomedical research agency where I was conducting neuroimaging research, so looking at the brain function of ADHD. I started this monumental journey because of my aunt was diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia around the age of 9, and I'd never heard of these kind of neurodevelopmental things. And of course, that was the catalyst really for me wanting to find out everything I could. And so basically I got with 3 degrees, and then I qualified as a nutritionist. work at a non-pharmacological, so that's a non-drug-based approach to healing the brain. We know you can change your brain, which is super empowering through the process of something called neuroplasticity. And so I've coupled up with Lisa Nash, and she does the fitness side. I do the nutrition because, of course, they work in
Hey, Lisa.
And, yeah, I hope Lisa's tuning in and listening to us. Yeah. So that's
fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Everyone has said hello to each other. Everybody knows each other. I have no idea what that noise still is, and it's driving me a bit balmy. But I'm hoping that wherever it is, it will stop. It could be the rain, because I think it was raining before.
Phone connection, Amy?
I'm not sure, but it's like a little bit of friction. It could well be me. It's telling me that my internet is quite poop, to be quite honest. But let's so I'm going to jump straight in, and I'm going to get our questions down and dusted. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to say, Tasha, I know that you're out there, and Dan and a few others in the group. Could you literally give me a sign and let me know what the sound is like out in the Facebook world? Because it's sounding a bit at my end. Everyone seems fine. So if someone can give me a sign, that would be really good. That would be amazing. Okay. We're in COVID, guys. And the implications of the breakdown of our home when things begin to come on top. Things like loss of work. Some people become homeless, you know, and we've got people who are less income because they've either been on furlough. It goes from 80% to 70% to 60%. And we have those who literally become the sole breadwinner. Okay. Now, it's a lot to answer in one go. But as I've just said it, what do you think? I'm going to put this straight to Francesca first. What I've just said. What do you think the impact of that you think would put in a person?
So we all know COVID's here, and basically what I've noticed is the suicide rate's gone up, but the news is not covering the suicide rate. So there is suicide because people are lonely. People can't. Do you know how physical touch is so important? And it's getting worse. So there's the mental health element is heightened now during COVID. Not having work, signing on, universal credit, is all part of a new form of depression. So, yeah, fair enough. Okay, COVID's a new form of a virus. We've just started a whole new form of depression. Students with grades but can't get jobs. Students with grades and can't get into the university they need. So my key factor now to people is to talk about it. Find somebody, there's listening ears out there. There's talk therapy.
Woo! Are you okay?
Yeah, no, just something to speak up. There's talk therapies. There's therapy online. So my main thing to everybody is don't suffer in silence.
Right. I don't know why, because everyone's signal seems really, really good. And can you hear it, what I'm hearing?
I can hear it. But I was going to say, if you mute everybody once, if you mute us one by one, you'll be able to know where the noise is coming from.
Yeah, I'm sorry, folks out there. I'm going to give it a go. Because
so mute me first and then mute everybody.
I really want everyone to get the benefit of hearing everybody. So let me... Right, so it's not you. Oh, that's better. Oh no, it's come back. Okay, how does that sound?
No,
it's still there. I'm wondering.
Nothing.
It's Rachel's connection.
Yeah.
Okay, Rachel. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is we're going to keep talking. Hold on. Okay, Rachel, I was going to say to you, sign out and sign back in again for us, and we'll come back in again, because then there's just a slight technicality there, and it's really weird. So. Is that better?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, there it's gone. So hopefully when she signs back in, it may have just. So sorry to everybody out there that's picking us up. It's a very, very weird noise. So it's got, yeah, someone has just said, yeah, it's gone. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it out again, and I'm hoping everyone heard what you said the first time. So sorry to ask you to say it again, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is, first and foremost, don't suffer in silence. There is help out there. The government are aware. Please don't misunderstand. The government are fully aware of the effects it's having. Suicide has gone up. Loneliness is one of the biggest killers in London because we are a culture of on my own.
Right.
Yeah. And so for what I'm trying to say is don't suffer in silence. There's talk therapies. My main thing right now, I tell people, is YouTube is amazing. YouTube is amazing for affirmations, meditation, and just getting to understand that you're not alone.
Yes.
So yeah, to understand you're not alone. I'm a counselor. I woke up one day and I felt like, rah, is this really it?
You don't know
and
what
I'm a counselor. I should know better. Yeah, I should know better. But my emotions took over my thought process, which then went back into my emotions. So
Yes.
please understand, you're not alone, 100%, and there is help out there.
Okay, we're going to come back to that in what help that we can get. Brianna, same question. Do you want to you get the question I asked? I can ask it to you again. So in this time, with all the implication of COVID, the breakdown, the impact that we're now suffering through people being loss of work. So we're talking about furlough to redundancies, which, redundancies can mean anything. Be redundant, then be re-employed, you're being paid less, the less income, homeless. You could be in a relationship where you've ended up being homeless because there's a breakdown. And then there's homelessness because you've lost your home because you can't, the mortgage, the bank is not listening to you, or, your landlord has decided that they're under the cosh, so you've got to go because you're not paying on time. And furthermore, the breakdown of communication. What, in your eyes, is the implications of the impact of that?
There's so many. And literally, this is what I kind of deal with day to day with people, with finding services to help them, whether it's legal services that they need.
Communication. What, in your eyes, is the implications of the impact of that?
There's so many. And literally, this is what I kind of deal with day to day with people, with finding services to help them, whether it's legal services that they need.
What, in your eyes, is the implications of the impact of that?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, Rachel's definitely having internet connection problems. Definitely. So I'm going to bring her back in again. Let's see if it works. What, in your eyes, is the implications of the impact of that? So she's absolutely. Why today are we having internet issues?
You know what? There's everyone that's trying to do something positive for people is getting stopped, and I've noticed that everyone that's doing something positive for people is getting blocked.
Right, Rachel, you're going to have to log out and log back in again. Why today are we having internet issues? Right, so let's see. Francesca's ducked out again, but sorry, you were saying.
No, that's fine. So a lot of the implications are people are not understanding their emotional threshold. And I think this is the time where they're actually realizing what they can and cannot cope with. But I think a lot of the time people are actually finding the resources to help them. As much as there are a lot of, downturns in this time, people are actually looking and finding the support because, again, a lot more services are opening up because they're realizing the impact of this as well. In regards to families, that's a vast and broad subject in itself, but there is a rise in a lot of children. Their behavior is all over the place. There's a lot more access to all kinds on the internet as well. It's about
that's a brilliant point, the access to the internet.
It's more
what
frequent.
They're seeing. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So we've got to be mindful of what they're seeing as well as how we're digesting the information as well. when it comes down to people being furloughed, and even just things like food availability. There's a lot of more people going to the food bank, and there's a scarcity at food banks, in fact, so it is significantly impacting negatively, but I can see the positives where there is a light at the end of the tunnel in a lot of the areas, a lot more jobs being made, a lot more grants being formed, and a lot less restrictions on how you can access these grants as well.
Can you elaborate on these without having to break any data protection? Could you elaborate? You know what I mean. But could you elaborate a little bit, because we can tell people this, but where could we point them in the direction of where they can do this?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm a person that I would look for things, even for my own business, for example. There are, for example, Black business groups that if you sign up to certain things, you might have access, or you can look at the eligibility criteria and see if you meet it. So it may be that if you've not been able to run certain sessions, or you've been impacted by the regular session running of your business, but also if you have, for example, a limited staff amount, it's only me that runs plans. So sometimes when you look for funding, they'll ask for a certain amount of employees, so say 5 to 10 or plus. A lot of them are reducing that kind of restrictions as well, to make it a lot easier, even down to the amount that you're asking for. They're a bit more lenient on that because, again, they're understanding that people have been significantly impacted. When it comes down to like benefits, they're speeding these things up. Usually, for example, universal credit, it will take 6 weeks, whereas they've reduced it down to 1 week. So, all these different processes that they're putting in place. Again, they can still feel like you're jumping through hoops, but the hoops are closer together than before, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Rachel,
there's grants out. There's grants out there, and the thing is, the government's not telling you there's grants. Don't get a loan. Do not get a loan.
Seriously.
Get a grant, because the grants are there. If you work on your own, if you have a business, you're self-employed, there are grants out there. Woolwich has just awarded 10 grand, and I can say this from experience, not for me, but for where I work on my day-to-day. They've been given 10 grand grants.
As a sole bet person in the business?
Yes, yeah. Once you get business rates, or you don't pay business rates, but you've got small business rates relief, you have an office and you can prove that you work, you will get the grant. But the problem is you have to go through the process. Do not let them say no one more time. Appeal. No money is free money, but this is free money once you go through the right guidelines. There is money out there. There's insurance, and the government's always got insurance in place to cover every business. So I'm just saying, do not give up, please.
No. That's great information. Rachel, the same, and over to yourself. In your dealings on a regular basis, what have you seen the impact of COVID on people that's having the anxiety, having the homelessness, how they're dealing with their eating, how are they dealing with the impact of literally the loneliness, the breakdown of communication? Now, these lovely ladies have given their sides in terms of how, if they're homeless, where can you go? If you've lost your job, where can you go? What have you seen?
I think overall we've seen staggering increases in mental ill health and also in suicide, and especially among what I call our neurodiverse population. Sure. So what I mean by neurodiversities are, children, young people who've been diagnosed with whether it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or some type of autistic spectrum disorder. These children and young people are much more prone to having overlapping depression and anxiety. So they are among our most vulnerable right now. And in fact, my daughter's 18, and within a 2-month period, 2 of her close friends have committed suicide. So it's absolutely tragic. And I think we really do need to step up the whole mental health campaign. I was really happy to see that at the weekend. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen adverts now asking you to donate. But there are many more sort of smaller charities and organisations who also offer services, but they're probably not as, well known about. They're not really necessarily in the public domain. I mean, what Nutritious Minds did was I straight away offered a free 15-minute consultation to anyone wanting advice on mental health and what to do. But I think, I've been trying to post lots of tips on my Nutritious Minds Insta. And I think number one is connection, because during lockdown, the isolation goes against everything we understand.
Right.
Connection is intrinsic to human nature. And when you're not allowed to see family members, and in many cases, families were fragmented and split up because one was working and was, mixing with the public, and the other had young children or was, pregnant. So that's caused, a huge divide, and not being able to see your friends. I mean, even I felt the impact of that. Valerie, that we're both very social people, and, I had a huge social life, and that came down to almost nothing. And again, the lack of exercise, my life was such that I was up and down, in and out of London every day, doing 10,000 steps a day. And that dwindled down to like under 1,000. So people are also
I think we all can relate on that one.
And I think also during the lockdown period, because we're humans, we are hardwired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. But unfortunately, as humans, we want immediate pleasure. And we're looking for constant rewards and little fixes, which releases that dopamine and gives us that little high, and it makes us immediately feel good. But of course, it's transient and it's fleeting, and it's not the same as releasing serotonin, which is the hormone in your brain, which is associated with overall well-being and happiness. Dopamine is what you get through social media, through alcohol, through nicotine, through marijuana, through cocaine, through gambling, through sex, through eating a pleasurable meal. And that's why people get addicted to, these types of things. They get addicted to social media because they want that little hit. It's a little drug being released in their brain. So I think that's been a huge problem for a lot of people as well.
I agree.
Yeah. So that's addictions, increased risk of developing addictions, whether you're binging or you're comfort eating, you're seeking that pleasurable reward.
Everything that moves.
I think for some people it's worked really well. They've like stepped up their exercise. They're eating super healthy. We've seen like a lot of the gyms, home gyms, of it. And for those who are not doing that, that's also going to make our self-worth, plummet, because it's like then we're comparing ourselves. Oh, look at that person. They're drinking, these nutritious juices every morning and they look amazing, and I put on a stone and weight. That's, so there's pluses and minuses. I think also for a lot of my families, they've really connected. It's been the first time they've actually had their children home, and they've loved it, and it's worked really well. But then for others who perhaps already had some underlying kind of, maybe mental health issue, it's created anxiety and depression, feelings of hopelessness. And what do you do to cope? And we're going to come on to that.
We're going to definitely come on to that, because I'm going to throw that back out to the to the group. So we've all established that there is a massive knock-on effect, and as Francesca said, there is this group. People don't know that you can go and ask for help for money if you are a sole trader, or even a trader of more than 3 or 4 or 5. And, Rihanna is literally telling you there that there's groups, there's peer groups, but you have to get up to want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to you? So it's all well and good that we're sitting here. We have the best intentions, trying to let people know that, listen, this is what's on. Give me an example how we can say to someone, without being smug or contrite, it's, how do we tell them to get up? Because Rachel, you just said for yourself a while ago, we have the best intentions, we get up, we do all this exercise, and then after a month or 2 months, you still can't go anywhere. You can't go anywhere. You're going. Do you know what I mean? And you're battling to stay sane, but then the powers that be is still hitting you monetarily. Your kids, you've got children in the house that are driving you nuts, that you only would see only like X amount of hours a day. Do you know what I mean? So that's the next subject that I'm going to come on to. So actually, I'd like to digress. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask the next question, and then we'll come back to that. So we've come to that. So when the communication breaks down and no one's opening up, causing the partners to not speak, the children then become have this tunnel vision. They're thrown in front of the TV. Kids are just thrown in front of the TV because the parents are struggling for themselves. What else are they supposed to do? How, give me some advice. Is there anything that you can offer someone out there that is actually going through that? What's the mindset? What are the signs to watch out for? I'm going to throw this out to you again, Francesca.
So, as you know, I work for a children's society. So that's what I do on my normal day. I work for a school. And as you rightfully said, unfortunately, abuse has heightened also. We didn't touch on abuse, and I forgot to mention abuse within the home. Child abuse has increased. A lot of children I know have been removed from their normal homes into a foster home due to COVID.
Oh, wow.
Now, what I'm saying, yeah. Food abuse, neglect is very high. Because if you think about it, kids going to breakfast club, lunch, and then after school clubs, that's their 3 meals.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's their 3 meals.
Look at that.
Yeah. People forget. But the school I'm at, they actually deliver food to the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good. That is so good. Yeah, because oh my word, I didn't look at it like that.
Abuse, neglect has heightened, and also, I think they brought something out last week about separation. Separations has heightened because if you check it, you're with a man or a female, and you see them 4 to 5 hours a day. But now you're living with this person. You're thinking, nah, this is not what I signed up for. Nah. No,
sorry.
What I want.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah.
It's true. And it's happening on a daily basis. But again, it's something that the government doesn't cover. Now, what I do parenting classes. And what I say to parents is how you were brought up is not how you need to bring up your children. First and foremost. If you were brought up in a loving family, cool. If your parents were a bit flexible with the belt, cool, but that's not how you're going to bring up your children. A, because we're in London. B, because it is a form of abuse. Right. What I've said to most parents is homeschooling, if it's not for you, own it. Don't be embarrassed. There's help online. Utilize YouTube to do homework. Yeah. I've got 2 children. Absolutely. My daughter's 19. I don't know how I made it through COVID. Rihanna knows her. One of us would have gone missing.
Hold on. Did she just say she's got a 19-year-old daughter?
She's
20 in November.
Mate, you look like you just past 12. What are you talking about?
You're 19.
You're 19. What?
But that's the thing. Have conversations with these kids. Understand their thought process, because their thought process is not your thought process. You might be thinking about bills and electric. They're thinking about the person who they've texted and they ain't texting them back.
Mm-hmm.
They've got their own issues. They're their own individuals. Don't put your stress on them. I'm sorry, if you've been furloughed and you haven't got enough money, that's not their problem. But communicate it. Boy, you know that PS5 you wanted for Christmas, it's not going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah.
But you've communicated it.
And tell them why. Break it down to them why. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But what about the kids that have been so used to having everything and now they don't? And the parents have not communicated to them that what is really happening out here in the real world. How are they dealing with their children like that?
I asked all my godchildren and my nieces and nephews to draw a picture of what COVID looks like. So I'm going to say to parents, and I had an adult client do that, just draw a picture of what COVID looks like to you.
I like that.
And I'm going to challenge all you ladies to do it. And I'm interested to see you, Doc, you, Ree, and you, Max, just draw a picture of what COVID looks like to you.
You know what? I'm going to do that. And we'll revisit that when we come for the next session. We will put our what COVID is to us out there. We're going to lay ourselves out there, because it's all well and good that we're putting all these ideas. It'd be good to see what we really see.
Yep.
So
Sure.
thank you for sharing that. That's okay, girls. We've got a bit of homework to do.
I know, right?
I'm back at home now.
Are you going to participate in that as well, Francesca?
Yeah.
What did I do?
Are you going to do your version as well?
Oh, I've done like 4.
Okay, well, we want one of them. You put one of them in the group as well. Okay.
No problem.
On what Francesca's just said, Rihanna, have you got anything to offer on that point in terms of the children themselves? Have you come across that? Is yours only to deal with the parents, or male or females, but not teenagers or children?
No. So I deal with children and adults, but mainly when it comes to children, I deal with their parents through the child protection process. Those have heightened. I've had a lot of child safeguardings come through. And a lot of the time it's because parents are scared to take their child to get checked up, or they're scared to go to the hospital, or they're scared to get a COVID test. Like, it's fear that's causing a lot of these safeguardings come through. That's from my perspective anyway.
No,
and a lot of the time, when you speak to the parents, they're like, I know what I could have done, but I went against everything I knew because I've been scared because XYZ might happen. Even just the fear of them saying that they've done something wrong is also another fear, you know? So
do you think
tough.
that parents are being judged? Do you think that a lot of people's heightened fear, added fear, is that for the first time, parents feel that they're being judged with their children?
To a degree, but at the same time, like, we could kind of relate it back to the whole school situation, like parents sending their children back to school, or making the decision to homeschool. Again, a lot of parents are using this time now to kind of take back the power to govern how they want to support and raise their child. And I think a lot of that is coming through. Again, it's a balance. So some parents are managing very well. I'm seeing the upside of it where, like you said before, you're spending more time with each other, you're learning your child again, you're learning about yourself and your partner again. But then the downside of it is, okay, like Francesca said, is this the person I knew before? I'm having to relearn. You do actually want you. Even when it comes down to your child, you're learning new and more things about them that maybe you think as a parent, this isn't what I aspired you to be like. So how are you now going to work with them to become the person that you want them to be and what they want to be as well? So it kind of brings out a lot of information that you can use for the good, because at the same time, everyone is learning themselves throughout this time. I call it solitude season. I think isolation has really, really, even just the word isolation is negative.
It's negative. It really is.
I think a lot of
my friend said to me, just to throw something in there, she said, you must be coping fine. So I said, what do you mean? And she said, because as much as you will see me on Instagram and Facebook and posting quotes, I actually like isolation. I could just go for weeks, days, and not see anyone. I don't know why I'm like that, but I'm being serious. I know it sounds so ridiculous.
No, it doesn't. I feel exactly the same way. I work from home anyway, so a lot of my time is spent at home. When my son's at school, I'm here by myself. So
so you're used to that.
Yeah.
But I'm not, this is me normally. This is before COVID, is what I'm saying. So what she's saying to me is this. She said, it's great. The weekend would come and you'll be like, wah! And everyone thinks you're wah! But then when it comes Monday to Friday, you are like
a homebound bunny.
And I may not look that, but so there are people who it's okay. But I'll tell you something. For the first time, I've actually lost track of the time.
Yeah,
I've forgotten how to do things because Monday to Friday, that, okay, I know this is what I'm going to do on Saturday and Sunday. It's let me go and meet my friends. Let me go out. Let me go and have some fun. But lo and behold, that's not happening. So Monday now is a Monday straight to Monday. And it's Monday straight to Monday. It's a Monday straight to Monday. And you get up and you think, okay, what knickers am I putting on today then? Or am I not going to put on a pair of knickers today?
Did you say knickers? I was going to say knickers.
Yeah,
Who's
knickers. Yeah,
doing that?
I'm gonna just
Who's
go
wearing bras?
the back
Who's
to that.
wearing bras?
Yeah, you just put the wrapper on and you're good.
And you're good to go. But I looked at it and now I'm laughing, but it's the truth. This is how we've become. Loungewear on
Ugh.
loungewear has become the number one outfit.
Yep.
On Pretty Little Thing, on you name it, loungewear has become the, who would have thought your pajama is the number one outfit? And I know.
There's some people who've been living in their pajamas for the last 6 months, Valerie.
I can't believe Francesca showed up.
Just arrived.
Right, there you go. But at least I'm switching it up, and I think that's where a lot of people probably are getting a bit more in their mood, in their moment, when they're not switching up enough. Like, if you're going to go down the loungewear route, go shopping for loungewear properly and do it properly. Do it big or don't do it at all.
I mean, so much you can be. Sorry, Rachel, go on. You was going to say.
I was going to say, like, some of the advice I've been giving to my families that I work with is to try and have structure and routine, because the external world is so chaotic, and when your mind becomes chaotic and you feel like there's no purpose, like we just said, let's just stay in my pajamas all day, let's not, even get in the shower, or, make ourselves presentable, because why do we need to? But then that can become habitual, which also increase risk of depression, and where it's important to maintain, especially if you're homeschooling, don't let your kids just, run wild and have free reign, or, have the television as a babysitter. Literally have a program, even if you start at 10 a.m. and you finish at 2 p.m., take them out, make sure that at 11 o'clock they know it's, whatever they're doing then, and, put exercise into that routine, and of course playtime and social time and Zoom time with relatives or nanny that they don't get to see anymore. It's so important to have structure and routine for our own mental health. So
I'm worried about. Go on, Frank. No,
people tend to forget. I have children, and people be like, "Oh, but you're right. You've got the kids." Adult communication is very important. So for the single people like myself, poor Rihanna, I think the first few weeks, me and her are speaking a lot, because we do spa days together, and I haven't had that spa day. I haven't had that adult communication. And what I want to share, I can't share with my children, because that's not their job. Their job is to be children. So we tend to focus on, homeschooling and kids at home. But for the singletons who wake up every day and work from home but have these 4 walls, the 4 walls alone are very, very, it's like isolation in prison. So imagine being in prison and then they put you in isolation. That's even more.
Now we know.
And there have been studies showing that a lack of human contact, like not being touched, not being cuddled, basically can bring on depression. And the more you're hugged, that releases endorphins, which are these natural antidepressants. So to lack human contact over sustained periods of time is detrimental to our well-being and mental health.
I cried 4 times. 4 times over lockdown, I cried. And the first time I cried, my nephew came and he ran out and he's like, "Auntie Fran." I was like, "Bruv, I can't hug you." He's like, "What? Even family?" And that was the first time I cried. And I didn't cry because I couldn't physically touch him. Yeah, that's my nephew. That's my boy. This is what we do.
Yeah. So
I can't hug him.
And think about all the elderly in care homes,
exactly.
Some of them may have dementia, they may be totally confused, got Alzheimer's,
It's rife. So which brings me to, how do you recognize this? It's all well and good that you're saying it can bring on depression, and it can bring on anxiety, and it can bring on panic attacks.
Yeah.
Ladies, I don't know enough to say that you've had a panic attack, or you've had anxiety, or you've had depression. But in your experience of those 3 words, and you mentioned suicide earlier today, how do you recognize that you have any of those 4 components? I'm going to throw that to you, to Rihanna.
Gosh. So I used to suffer with panic attacks myself, actually. This was when I was in uni, and I think for me, I recognized it when I started sweating, and that would be my first kind of, not, I wouldn't say trigger, indicator. It would be the sweat, but then I would find myself hyper distracted. Like I wouldn't be able to focus on what I'm saying or what I'm trying to think. And then also where I suffer with asthma,
Oh
um,
wow.
it was again the heightened I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Where's my asthma pump? And yeah,
No,
thank
because
God now.
so I recognize that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to really because yeah, I got to a point where I was suffering with insomnia, and the insomnia led to constant migraines. The migraines led to more insomnia. So I was medicated daytime and nighttime, and it got to a point I had to just take a decision to do better for myself and come off of pharmaceuticals. And I started more natural medication. So I like ginger a lot of the time. Ginger helped me reduce my headaches, chewing it. And meditation, in all honesty, I really had to think to myself, because I'd come up in rashes as well, all over my body, and I was like, what is going on? So for me, yeah, the sweating, the rashes, the lack of sleep, the dehydration, the lack of focus, there's so many different things, and when it gets to the point of the actual panic attack, I literally feel like I've been stomped on in my chest.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I remember I hyperventilate as well when I have a panic attack. So again, like I said, I've got asthma, so not being able to gasp as much breath as I think I need. But yeah, let's not go into it. But
No. Breathe and breathe.
I feel like I'm getting anxious about it already. But yeah, it's one of these things I've had to learn to talk about it.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight it because if anyone out there, if anyone is watching this, they are sitting there probably not realizing that's what's going on.
Yeah.
They are actually having a panic attack or an anxiety attack, or like right now I'm sweating and I know that I've got onset of menopause, and I cannot believe I've actually set this on live out there. So I'm putting it out there. I've never wanted
the minnow.
incredibly young forever, but for some reason I'm sure that's what's happening, and it's happening to me through COVID. So hey, at least I've owned up to something about myself, which I never thought I could, and that's a whole nother subject I'm going to talk about in weeks to come, to ask if anyone else what the hell did that to me. But
yeah, you could do menopause. I should do a whole topic on the menopause and perimenopausal.
Because I'm telling you, like, people, I've got friends, 40-year-old friends who are menopausal already, and I'm like, no.
Yeah,
sorry.
It can start at 35.
As young as. So I try to look at it now that don't think that you have to be in your 50s to be in menopause. It actually starts from in your 40s, or even younger. And I've had to learn to accept that. But the whole different subject, we're going to go back to the, So just have you experienced anything like that? Have you experienced?
What I would say is a friend of mine passed away, and she's on the love side, like me. Now, this is what happened. I went into panic, and then I can't breathe, because me and her are the same weight. We have the same feature. And then you'll meet my daughter. I was in the bathroom and I was having a panic attack, and I was like, I can't breathe. And my daughter just stood there and went, so you want to die on a Wednesday? You don't think to die on a Saturday?
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. That's because she doesn't understand.
And I was like, but I can't believe. She goes, stop reading Google. Stop looking for symptoms. Know your triggers. And I was like, auntie, and she just looked at me like, woman, will you just calm down? So my thing is telling people, Google is good when you're looking for film ratings, but if your head hurts, don't Google my head hurts. Leave it alone.
Yeah, that's very good advice, because we can all become hypochondriacs, and that can actually increase the panic. I think it's first to recognize you're having a panic attack, and it is, as everyone's described, like feeling that breathless, like you can't actually breathe, feeling you have a heart attack, feeling your legs are going to give way, like it's basically overactivation of the parasympathetic nervous system. That's what's going on. So you're flooded with all these stress hormones, you're flooded with noradrenaline, cortisol, and basically you literally go into panic. And I think recognizing it's happening and then regulating your breathing, you know, like literally like inhale to the count of 7, exhale slowly, as slow as you can to the count of 7, and just keep repeating that. And, you know, I think apps like Headspace and Buddha.
I was going to mention that, mindfulness,
and also, like, we can all go into panic when we start worrying about money, for example. Like, I always say to everyone, like, you've got to trust the process. Like, you've got to have faith, because actually up until this point of your life, you've survived everything that's been thrown at you. You know, you've survived it, and you're going to survive this. Like, at the end of the day, money is enough to, like, literally put people into panic. And and I think what I do every day, and I recommend this for everyone that hasn't tried it, is practicing gratitude. So before I go to bed at night, I will say 10 things that I'm grateful for, even if it's just the fact that I had, you know, a home cooked meal, or the fact that I've got this warm, cozy bed to sleep in, or that I had a warm bath with essential oils, you know, or a smile from a stranger, or whatever, you know, because if you focus on lack, basically you attract more of that. And when you focus on abundance and gratitude, then it literally is so healing. It's super healing, and it puts you in that mindset of abundance.
Also, what I would say is transference. Now, transference is a thing that people don't discuss a lot. Understand the conversations you're having. If you're having a conversation with somebody who's negative and they're a negatron, remove it. Let them have their negatron.
I love it. New word, negatron.
Negatron. Because the thing is, transference happens, and you could be really high. I could be like, "Hey, Doc, how are you?" And by the time I finish talking to you, I'm like, "Oh, I might as well just be careful of the conversation."
And the more of a positive person you are, the more you have these people like wanting to just constantly, like, you know, drain your energy.
So transference is really, really key. First of all, acknowledge the trigger. Understand why you're feeling triggered. Check
why
yourself.
I wanted to know the trigger.
Reflect on your now and why you're feeling like that. What conversation did you have? Like, I have an auntie who loves to call me and goes, "Oh, so you're not married yet? Oh." And she does it all the time. And I'll see her call me, and I'm already stressed in my head because I'm vexed because I know what she's going to say. And one day I just said to her, "Auntie, what about if I'm suicidal because I haven't got a man? How about that?" So because you haven't got a man, you're going to kill yourself. I said, "Yeah, but you keep bringing it up. Watch the conversations you have." And she's older than me, but it got to a point that I was thinking, she could say that to my daughter or my nieces or my cousins. So guess what? I'm going to nip it in the bud. So if the conversation is not feeding you, just say to whoever you're talking, "Oh, do you know what? We'll catch up." Turn off your phone.
The baby crying, even though you haven't got one. Oh, it's the neighbours.
I like that one. Who's baby?
Oh gosh. I'm going to bring you to another question, guys. And I'm going to come. The one that I'll get at the end, which would be about the nutrition. So I'll bring Rachel in at the back. But I think we've kind of touched on it already, which is family and loneliness. Now, you could be in the home with your children. You could be. Let's just take children out of the equation, because some people have got grown children. Okay, they've got grown children. So they've scooped, they've gone, but they're the ones that's left at home. They may have been getting into a relationship just before COVID started, or they were the relationship was that bad before, just as COVID started. What's happening is that they can't be in the same place, or they live in the same place. The communication is totally broken down. So I'm taking children out of it because we'll come back to that. But you're in this house with someone that you cannot have a conversation with. That's one. Or you are not in the same house, so your mind is doing 24/7. You have no idea where that person is. You can't speak to them. You can't touch them. You can't do anything. What is your take on that? I'm going to throw that to you, Rachel, this time.
Oh my gosh,
I'm opening everything out today. It's about motivating everyone in different scenarios.
Yeah,
our lives doesn't mean that someone is living our life.
No, that's right. And I think either COVID brings you together, or it literally, I think, Francesca, you said this earlier, or it literally divides you. And for me, I've had to, I chose to, just to keep a certain group of friends around me. And they're the friends I spoke to, because I just felt there wasn't enough of me to give to everyone. And I just wanted to have certain people in my life. That little group got me through. But I think if you're living with someone and the relationship's broken down, it's really tough. It's literally a case of, can you have that honest, open conversation and decide that it's not working and that you need to go your separate ways? The alternative is that you're fighting and bickering and you're becoming even more unhappy and depressed. So if that other partner can go and, stay with family, maybe a separation is what's needed. But definitely these are such testing times, and you really do learn who is there for you, when you go through time.
Would you say to the person, this is just a conundrum, I'm throwing it out there. Sure. With two people in a home, and it's becoming to the point of domestic violence. Let's just throw domestic violence in there. Try not to be morbid about this, but we're living in a real world here, 2020. You know what I mean? Right now, anything goes. We're seeing things that we never thought it was possible. So there's two people that domestic. Now, say that you had domestic violence prior to even living together or not living together. What would how you deal with that? I know we don't have the answer, but would you suggest that they would call the police and leave?
Yeah, you have to get yourself. I mean, I've been a victim of domestic violence, so I've actually lived that when I was, almost 3 decades ago. So I've been in that situation, and it's the most frightening thing.
I hope she comes back. She's frozen at the moment, but yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you have to have the strength to walk away. You have to look after number one, and that is you. And, if it means seeking some sort of support to get out of that situation, whether it's the police or a family member that picks you up or a friend, you have to leave. I mean, luckily, we have some amazing women refuge centres all over the UK. So there is always help out there. But you must remove yourself from any type of threat of violence. Yeah, you cannot live in fear, and it's the most demoralizing situation to be in. Yeah.
How do you know when to let go? Because some people don't know when to let go.
Yeah.
How do you know? Sorry, you say, Rihanna. So go.
Sorry, I said when love is no longer being served, when you feel that it's no longer serving you, it's not loving you anymore. Yeah. That's when you've got to realize it's taking away from you rather than adding to you. That's when you realize that you kind of need to jump ship. Yeah. Or they need to jump ship.
What about those who are not? What advice would you give to those who keep making the same mistake and saying, it might get better, or where do I go? I've got nowhere to go.
There's a mixture of responses, and I'm going to keep it 100 with everybody here. Don't mean to offend. There's a cultural element to certain parts of abuse. Yeah. There is a cultural element to where my husband slapped me. Okay, what did you do? So you know that there's no support there.
Yeah.
So what you do first and foremost is you understand that this might be your journey on your own, because you've got the family shame and you're not doing what you need to do. And people don't discuss this, you know. People think, oh, and there's no shame in leaving. And this is what I need women and men to understand. No shame in leaving.
No.
Because the shame is when you stay at home and your children see that, oh, daddy boxed my mum, but then mum went to bed. So when your child grows up and her husband boxes her or her boyfriend boxes her, it's all right because my mum went through it.
Yeah.
We're not here to teach children learned behavioural abuse, first and foremost.
Mm.
And taking the abuse to the side, putting abuse to the side, and just living in a home with somebody that you no longer feel the love, the passion. Check yourself first.
Yeah.
First and foremost, check yourself. Why don't you feel loved? What do you need in the relationship? Have you expressed what you need? And if you don't get what you need, it's like me, let's say me and you, Max, we're dating, right? And my first date, I make you beans on toast. And we've been together for 10 years. And I make you beans on toast every anniversary. On our 11th anniversary, you say to me, oh, Fran, I don't really like beans on toast. That's your business. You should have told me when we started.
But that's true, because I should have spoken up from the get-go that I don't like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But people stay, Francesca, they stay in that mode. And the worst thing is that this is COVID now. So people are scared that if they leave the home, where do they go?
Yeah.
As Doc said, there are places out there. There's women's refuge, there's men's refuge. First and foremost, also, there's churches that provide accommodation. It's a phone call. You don't have to make the phone call. You can call Rihanna and go, boy, Rihanna, I need you to do this. And Rihanna will make the phone call. Do you understand? But first and foremost, there's no shame. There's no failure. Like, you can't fail in marriage or relationship. It takes two. So understand that if you're walking away for self-preservation. It's got nothing to do with the person, oh, I love you, come back. No, it's I have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful advice.
Yeah.
And this is now I'm going to throw, and again, we will visit this another time, but I would love people, I'm just hoping that someone out there will understand, even if you've got children within this relationship, within COVID, in the same house or even outside of the home, and you are being abused, it's to actually, one of the advices that I would give on my own part would be, you must have a friend you can talk to.
Yeah.
There has to be a friend you can talk to. And I know that people are very scared, skeptical about us having this motivational show, because they don't want to keep hearing the same thing. They want to hide. It's like, it's not me. You know, the first things that we always say, that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Defer responsibility.
That's right. It's denial.
I'm all in it. I'm all in it.
We're all in it.
I'm all in it.
Absolutely. So the first thing everyone's going to say is, oh, because that does not pertain to me, listen to that. But in fact, what we're talking about is a knock-on effect that's going to happen way down the line. So we've covered that. We're talking about, how are you going to motivate yourself to come out of this, to be the best person that you can? How are you going to heal? We've talked about it. You just said, Rachel, we've been eating for comfort. I've eaten for comfort. I lost 2.5 stones in COVID and put every single 2.5 stones back.
You lost 2.5 stones? Where did you lose it?
What do you mean?
Where have you been walking so I can walk there?
I lost it.
Before you doing your exercises, it got me really inspired. I was like, I loved it all.
You lose it. I lost 2.5 stones and I put 2.5 stones back.
You lost 2.5. Wow.
Well done.
Straight up. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you know, Dr. Rachel said something. Dr. Rachel was talking about, like overeating and eating for comfort and drinking. And again, one morning I woke up and I was having a glass of red. And again, the person that lives in my house, she was like, Ben Shepherd's on TV. I was like, yeah. Mum, Ben Shepherd's on TV. I was like, what does that mean? She's like, Mum, it's in the AM. Yeah. My response as a full-grown adult was, oh, it's 2 p.m. somewhere in the world. Because I didn't know the time. I had lost.
But
I
it's
stopped registered. Structure.
hilarious actually, because it brings me to, I didn't even think about alcohol, maybe because I've stopped drinking alcohol. But
Yeah,
it
you
brings
stopped.
me to, alcohol must be one of the off license must be, so they made money.
Oh, sales have soared.
Oh my
Yes.
God, they made money.
They've gone through the roof. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's why pubs aren't making money. Pubs are not making money. Pubs aren't making money because my one shot in my house is a lot stronger than the one shot that I'm paying that down at Weatherspoons.
It's true. It's true. It's so true.
I love it. But
especially for Ray and Nephew, there
All
was
right,
Yeah,
Rihanna.
I'm just saying there was a myth that Ray and Nephew can kill corona. I'm just saying
It can.
that's where
God. What, like drinking disinfectant or whatever was going on?
well this is like my cousin.
At the beginning, someone had left like a quarter bottle of white rum in my Ray and Nephew in my house. No, it wasn't mine. They'd left it there. So what I did was I put it into my hand sanitizer.
There you go.
You can use it for cleaning.
I did.
Germ on every surface.
I really did. And so one day, as I forgot that it was so much potency, I poured one little bottle of hand sanitizer. I then got on the bus with my mask and then did that on my mask and fixed, and it
Oh my God.
Get drunk off the fumes.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was dying. I was going. I was breathing in 100% proof Ray and Nephew through my mask because I stupidly had scrunched it in my hand and then put the mask on, forgetting that it's alcohol. And I'm trying to bring a bit of humour to.
You're protected. You're protected. And the fact that you lot have called me out twice today, and I've got everything that you lot are talking about on my table. I need to rethink my life.
No, not at all. That's a tip.
I've done the picking out. I've done that, and I the only thing I can share for myself today, and the questions that we've been speaking about, is I think I was saying this to you, didn't I, Rihanna, when we first clicked today, and prior to about say 1 o'clock all the way to 3 o'clock, do you know what? If I'm struggling talking about having anxiety and panic attack, could you imagine other people?
Right.
All right. And I'm not lying. I swear on the one child I had, when she called me at 1:30, I was in such a state. And what I had to do was keep her on the phone. I had to keep her on the phone. And I paced the floor, and I was walking, and I was bobbing, and I was weaving. I was doing the figure eight. And then as I'm speaking, my throat is closing up. And if you ask me, why am I anxious? I can't tell you. But something is, and there's an underlying factor going on. I maybe because I'm not addressing COVID properly, or I've got myself in such a way that, we're going to do this. But there's only so much of, we're going to do this you can do. And so this has been going on for, I would say, probably 2.5 days. And I feel that if you guys can share it, then I should be able to share it. I should feel that proud. But it was the most sickening feeling. And even up until last night, I thought, I need to go to the hospital. But I put bits together, I packed and I put food, and I sat there and I thought, God, if this continues, I can't take the heart. It's the heart fluttering. Because the heart fluttering, you get the palpitations. And the palpitations were coming and they just wouldn't stop. And so what I ran and I did, and I've been living on, whereas I'm a water girl, I didn't even drink water. I was drinking soda. I just went and got myself a fizzy drink, and I was guzzling it. Anything to take my mind, anything, but it wouldn't go. I found in the end that sleep, I had to throw my phone away. I had to just not look at social. And I had to just literally say, Val, and I turned the TV on, and rather than be in my bed, I went and sat on the sofa and stayed on the sofa and gorged on. I know it sounds ridiculous. Forgive me. Come dine with me.
I love it. Yeah.
I saved. I don't know about anybody else. I saved episodes from 2011 to 2019.
Oh, bless
And
you.
I gouged on that for 3 hours, and then it subsided.
I mean, each to their own.
Yeah.
I
was just
it
about
was
to
the only
say.
thing that I could think, because what it was, there was humour in it.
Yes.
Yeah. It did make me hungry. Yeah. But I watched other people bickering, and it was funny, and it made me realise that we don't all come from the same walk of life. So what I would see, you'd see differently. You would think differently. You're going to act differently.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the colour of our skins. It's just who we are as individual people.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so, as I said, leading up until 4:30 this afternoon, this anxiety, my hand is itching. Now I'm totally convinced I'm having a heart attack. And
Your
then
hand's itching, you're getting money.
Yeah,
If your hand's itching, you're getting money.
Mate, I took out the heartbeat hat, and I put my finger on it.
No.
I am not lying to you, ladies.
Oh.
So what I'm saying, is learning to recognize your triggers. It's not you per se. I've listened to everyone. I'm only just trying to add something in terms of anxiety for someone who actually had one today. And I can't tell you why I'm having anxiety. I can't tell you why I woke up at 7 o'clock, and then I prayed and I thanked the universe, and by 8 o'clock I'm in tears. I cannot tell you. I looked up and I thought, is it the moon rising? It's got to be the moon rising, because it's a new moon rising going into Scorpio now. So I kind of believe into all of those earthly movements. But
They're
my
Scorpios, though.
Exactly. Well, I'm a Scorpio. I'm coming.
Exactly.
I don't know if it's all of that, but on a real, if there's anyone else out there that is experiencing that, this is what's going on, and you're not alone, and it's scary. And I just didn't know. My thought was, I don't want to go to the hospital because of COVID. I've got other things going on. So this is not just me now. I'm talking about people who have got ailments, who are scared to go to their GP. Or they're trying to get an appointment at their GP, and the GP is saying, I can't see you for 2 weeks. That is anxiety within itself. And then when you see the GP, he's then telling you that you're still going to have to see someone at the hospital.
Yeah.
And you've got to ring up and use your password key to make this appointment. And that appointment then takes another 2-3 weeks.
And then oftentimes you're just given a prescription anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
And
You're
so
right.
it's a vicious cycle, a very vicious cycle. So I was trying to touch it on very different avenues of where we are. So look, I know we've covered as much, and I'm hoping that anyone that tuned in, and I didn't even get to look at my Facebook to see what messages there were there. I really need to get my brother or my sister next time to moderate this properly, because it was so interesting listening to what you guys. The last thing I'm going to throw out there is eating for well-being. I know we were talking about guzzling, and I'm going to throw this to you, Rihanna. What is your thought on eating for well-being?
Eating for well-being. So a lot of the things, well, I've been drinking a lot of herbal tea. I know it's not really eating per se, but I've been drinking a lot of herbal teas with ginger, some with thyme, things like that. That's very calming and soothing. Sorry guys, my battery is about to die.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so I find that making short, quick meals are the easiest solution, because it doesn't make you think too hard about what you want to prepare, especially where, in all honesty, a lot of us are cooking breakfast, lunch, dinner, Monday to Sunday, and it can get very draining trying to plan something. Yeah, it's nice to kind of plan a nice Sunday meal or something, but trying to think of something every day to cook, it can get very draining, and even that can be anxiety provoking to the point where you don't end up eating.
Yeah.
that I would say short, simple meals, something that is very small, quick to prepare. Always have it colourful. I don't believe in eating a brown plate. I always have something that is vibrant.
I love
So
that. A
greens,
brown plate.
vegetables. Yeah, the brown plate
I
syndrome.
like rice and peas.
It's all fried, it's all rice, it's all no, yeah, it has to have some sort of vibrance to it. And yeah, drink lots of water throughout the day. I recently done a hydration challenge with
Yes.
some ladies where yeah, we was drinking it
Water.
was like 2 liters
2 liters,
throughout
yeah.
the day.
That every day. Great advice. You know,
Yeah,
you need it for your concentration. It removes all the toxins from your
got it right now.
brain. Yeah, I mean, I will carry a 2 liter bottle and I will make sure that I've drunk it by the end of the day. It helps with your mood, stability.
Yeah,
Super important.
yeah, exactly. So I think
When I
especially
grow up,
with
I want to be like you, look. When I grow up, I want to be like you too. I'm gonna keep it
But you
real.
know
I'm
what
gonna
it
keep
is?
it real. I'm gonna keep it real. My house, we're the kind of people where we'll wake up and then we won't eat, and then we'll have maybe mid 12 o'clock. Everybody's like, "Mom, you're gonna make brunch," and we'll have a breakfast because again, finances for
Yeah.
people are different.
Yeah,
But what I've learned and what I'm
Okay.
sharing to people is delete your Uber Eats app, delete the Deliveroo app, and just make it hard to get to because it's very easy. When you work it out and you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm giving you 100.
deliver.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet with the healthy eating, so I'm gonna put it out there. I'm not there yet, but delete the app so you have to log in and remember your password, and then you get vexed so you go and cook. That's all I've got.
but all these places don't make it easy. So, you know, even like Greg's is delivering now. So
Everybody are. Everybody.
yeah,
Nando's
McDonald's are
delivered.
delivering,
Nando's.
Nando's,
And
all of these
these
places they don't make it
would you have
easy.
eaten those foods? I don't know about anybody else, but they weren't food that you probably were running to eat from before COVID.
I don't eat meat, so
Yeah,
it
well,
don't really phase me.
but people have changed their eating habits because
Yeah,
of COVID. So
yeah,
things
that's
you would
true.
never do before, you are doing them now. Do you know what I mean? Because you do, you're asking yourself, where does this end? Rachel, what's your take on it? Because I know Nutritious Mind is a company that you run and it's something that you are very strongly for. And, you know, Rachel deals with a lot of ADHD, so you know how this works. What is your take on that before we part company and tell everyone thank you?
So I would just say to everyone, like literally head on over to nutritious_minds on Instagram.
We'll start putting everyone's things in this chat room.
Because it has all the recipes. I have a book coming out in February next year called Smart Foods for ADHD and Brain Health.
Brilliant.
It's literally talk about nutrition, it's from the neck down, and in terms of the prevention of type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, stroke, cancer, etc. But the role of nutrition to the brain and to mental health in particular is literally not addressed, and that's what the focus of my work is. There are certain brain selective nutrients that regulate your serotonergic and dopaminergic systems in your brain, which govern mood. You know, so I would say get back into the kitchen, make everything from scratch, try and avoid sugar and processed foods as much as possible. Juice every single day. There's a wealth of juice. Get yourself a NutriBullet for £36 from Amazon, delivered to your door. You know, get yourself some blueberries, some celery, some kale, spinach, beetroot, you know, low glycemic index fruits like, as I said, blueberries, cherries, grapes, you know, bung it all in. And it literally like, you feel like your brain coming alive when you drink it. It's amazing. And then, you know, I'm a pescatarian, so I follow like the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah.
And we know that if you follow the Mediterranean diet, then you're going to reduce your risk of depression and you're going to increase longevity. You're going to live longer and you're going to decrease your risk of premature diseases like type 2 diabetes and cancer and cardiovascular disease. So you are what you eat. You know, invest in yourself. You are your own food bank, if you like. You know, what you put in is going to protect you. It's going to build resilience against mental health. because when you eat a lot of junk and processed foods, it actually switches on inflammatory markers in your brain, and underlying all psychiatric illness is theorized to be inflammation of the brain. So you need to eat foods rich in omega-3, like seafood, avocados, olive oils, which contain, you know, bioactive compounds that are going to protect your cells against damage, against oxidative stress. Yeah, so that's my kind of advice. Go back to basics, like enjoy cooking, cook with love.
I've put in the chat room, because everyone's been asking, is, you know, all of the ACWADs. I've put Nutritious Mind, I've put PlanWeg.
I have an S on the Nutritious Minds. Huh? More than one mind. Collective.
Yeah. Is yours with minds? Is it MDS? Yeah. Right. MDS, yeah. I'll change that, folks. I'll tell them in there. But guys, girls, boys, children, women, you name it, we've come to the end of this session, and it's gone so quickly. I've sat here and continued, apart from your machine dying, you know, your battery going. You can see how long.
I know all the technical problems we've had. I apologise in advance for my crackly reception. Oh God, no. So we know now you cannot do it from a mobile. It has to be a laptop. So yeah.
Well, my laptop decided to reboot, so I was like, oh, wonderful.
I'm on my phone. I'm on my phone, but I've told everybody to stop breathing in my house.
Yeah. I love her. Stop breathing in my house.
I had so much fun.
Before we go,
yeah.
Before we go, anyone wants to part any words of wisdom about themselves, and just put it out there to everyone, because there's so much that I want to, and I just want to leave it, because we will be coming back another session. We've got various different topics. I'd like to think that the motivational room, or the motivational show, is not to let everyone feel squashed.
Yeah.
You know,
can I give a bit of words of advice?
Yeah.
Please.
Something that I've used, and I've realised it works across many different circumstances, whether I've been having a panic attack, or I'm going through insomnia, or even if I've just burst into tears. I've created myself a little breathe box, and I've literally called it Breathe Box.
Okay, brilliant.
And what it consists of, I wrote a little letter inside of it, and it literally says, it's okay that you're reading this. You need it right now, and that's okay. Use what you need, and then put me back safely. And that's just a little letter to myself to reassure me that it's okay. So try something like that, as well as little things that you know actually help you calm down or boost your mood. So I know, Valerie, you're a music person, so put in a couple of CDs or write out a playlist on Spotify.
Tell you I did similar, so I just want to. I love it. I just it makes me know that we are all on.
Yes, honestly, we need these little things. So even like bath salts. So recently got bath salt.
You do. Yeah.
Yeah, so a breathe box. I recommend everyone create a breathe box. Even paint it, decorate it. That in itself as an activity is calming. So yeah, breathe box.
Yeah, I've got a corner in my house. I've got a corner in my house that when I'm ready and I'm standing there, that means leave me alone. It means leave me alone. I've got my incense. Because the thing is, you're in your house all the time. So find a corner of your house that you like. Right? Just a corner.
I love it.
And in that corner, have a candle, have some incense, have some smells you like, have a bottle of water. I can't explain to you guys. Rihanna knows what my house is like. If I'm sat in that corner and you walk past me, keep walking.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a house with adults. And the one thing I would share is, when you wake up and you're having a bad day, understand that you're not the only person in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So they might be having a bad day. So me and my daughter have this main thing. We will wake up and we'll look at each other and we'll be like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you saying? If she's on a 5, I'm leaving her alone, because I might be on a 10. And she ain't ready for my noise. So we do that. My son's always on a 9. So we just leave him be. But then he needs to know where we're at.
Yeah.
Because he might be hyped. Yeah, mom. And I'm like, Bob, I'm on a 4. Where are you going?
Yeah, it's true.
I love it.
So that's all I'll say. Check yourself, check your energies, and be honest with your energies. If you're not feeling it, it's okay.
Yeah, it's literally okay.
What
I
about
agree.
you, Rachel? What wisdom would you like to part before we go?
So do what makes you feel good. Do you know what I mean? I'm like you, Valerie. Blasting music is always the one. Dancing around my living room. Just know you're not alone, and don't isolate yourself. Like, please just reach out. You know, just make that phone call to your whoever. You know, and use this time to try and create a vision board. Vision boards are one of my favorite go-tos because you know it can get you excited about everything you want to achieve, you know, just like put those pictures on a vision board and, you know, try and use your time productively. But I wish everyone stays safe and well, and I'm sending love to everyone who's joined us.
Energy back.
Yeah. The only thing that I have to impart with is similar to lovely Rihanna is a jar, and it was a program that I was watching, and so I started doing the same thing, and it's a jar, and it's called a Love Me jar. And in that jar I would write on a piece of paper and just say, it's okay today, even though today is not a good day, it's okay. And I put that in and I put it in the jar. And if I've had, you know, put any pearls of wisdom or quotes to myself, I would then write that and goes, so today I did blah, 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 and it made me feel good about myself. So, and I call it the Love Me jar. So you can get any jar, and just put on it your name, decorate it, and make it like, as you said, you've got a breathe box. Yeah. And that's your Love Me jar. And it's like having a journal. Jar becomes your journal. Some people don't like to write, you know, they don't want to write things down. So and so it's literally just getting a strip of paper and just say, today was not a good day, but I'm going to be better tomorrow. And then I'll write, you know, and I throw that in the jar. Or as I said, sometimes late at night I get up and I will literally jump up and a line will just come to me, like, my voice, your choice. And I'm thinking, what the hell's that about? And so I write it down and I've put it in. And so I've used things like that to create merchandise as well. And even if no one buys it, it's something that I felt passionate about. Does that make sense? So, and the last thing that I would say to anyone else out there is, don't procrastinate. Stop procrastinating, because the procrastination, it's one of the things that makes you start hating yourself. Because you're going to tell yourself there's no self-worth. You're going to tell yourself that you're no good. And that's not true, because everyone's good. Everyone's good in their own way. And so because that person sounds brilliant as a singer doesn't mean you can't sing. And because that person is a good writer doesn't mean you can't write. And because that person just had a book doesn't mean you can't. Just if you've got a dream, start it, do it. And if you fail, at least you tried it. I think
failing is the first attempt at learning.
Exactly. So this is one of the times that I would say to anyone, if you're bored, find something that you would never do, craft work, sewing, just anything that you've always thought, I'm going to give this a go. Create something new for yourself. Throw yourself behind it. You don't have to tell the whole world about it, but do it for yourself. Do it to keep your mind going. And it's all about self-love. So this is us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
I loved it.
I really, really did. I found it quite cathartic as well.
Yeah, thank you, Valerie.
Thank you, guys. It was. I thought about it, and I thought, I just want good conversation.
Yeah. We should.
It was a good conversation.
We should do this like just between us.
Yes, I think. I think we're going to start our own little group. So sorry.
I love this. It's awesome.
We'll catch you guys later. But for the time being, everyone big it up for Rihanna Ebanks Bab, for my lovely Francesca Ebunamang, and Rachel, Dr. Rachel Gow. I'm going to give you a title. I don't know her name, but Rachel, big up everybody.
Thank you very much.
Sending love to everyone out there.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Goodbye. Oh my word. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. And breathe. Thank you to everyone that left messages in the chat room. Appreciated. We did have a glitch right at the beginning. Yes, I still have a dodgy eye, but you know what? It's not about how I look. It's how I feel. And it's not about vanity. You just got to learn to be yourself. Okay. Thank you again for joining us. I'm so sorry I didn't have this great guy that was going to join us this week. I hope he checked in, and I hope he sees this and watches it. And I'm going to hopefully get him. I've got 2 more people that will join. In 2 weeks' time, we will have the live motivational show again. I hope you picked up anything from it. And if there's anything you wanted to find out from the young ladies, let me know. Drop me an email, drop me a line. Standing in My Truth YouTube, Standing in My Truth on our Facebook page. And we'll try and get all the information that was discussed about grants. If you are being abused, we can give you somewhere, details of where to go, who to ring. Don't forget, if you're feeling suicidal, Mind and the Samaritans are also there. Papyrus is there. Tonic Mind for Health is also there. Please check out all these websites. If you're having financial issues, please know that if you go onto the government line where you are based, especially for your borough, they do give out information of where you can get more than universal credit. Don't take the first no as an answer. They have put things into place for you to get help. So I hope you had a bit of laughter with us today. I hope you could relate. Don't panic. If you are an anxious person like myself, recognize the trigger and get help. Breathe, breathe, and breathe. Good night and God bless. Love you all. Signing out.